The self has never changed. We never experience the self as somebody else. We experience the self as the self in any body whatsoever, in any kind of form whatsoever. That's the link. What is the secret of this link? Very few people know it. I have questioned a lot of people. Do you know the secret? How this self persists in any form? You can't get out of it. Even if you go into delusion after delusion, into dream after dream after dream, you still have the same self dreaming and the same self assuming a role in the dream, which is still the self. That self revolves around itself, the dream, the illusion, but never destroying itself. The consciousness that picks up the experience of a dream, of a wakeful state, of a higher state, of the ultimate, is the same self. It never changes. The identity of the self never changes in any form, in any experience, at any level. What is the cause of that? What is the nature of that consciousness that can flow like this, and irrespective of change in the consciousness, in its form, or in its experience, it still remains the same? Can we give it a word to that link? Continuous link at any level. I don't know if anybody has given it a word, but mystics, saints, perfect living masters, sadgurus, satgurus, they have called it by a word. They tried to use a word for sharing this knowledge with us, that there is this link that goes all the way to every level of consciousness. What word did they use? For want of any other word, they called it the Word. Anybody familiar with St. John's Gospel? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were made by Him, and nothing was made that was not made by Him. That word. Consciousness. Its translation in every other known language of the world is identical. The word, Naam, Shabad, Subud, Tao. You can call it by any name in any language of the world. It is literally the word. How come? What is this word? Is it a spoken word? Could not be. If it is God, the creator, how can it be spoken word? We keep on changing our spoken word all the time. Every language in the world has a history you can trace back. Few thousand years. Not even, we don't know any language spoken a million years ago. And yet, there is a word which created time. A word that created the creator. A word that created all creators. A word that sustains us at every level of creation. What kind of word is that? The unspoken word. It can be heard but not spoken. You can listen to it but not speak it. And that gave another big clue to the process of going within. If the word is a continuous connection between every level of consciousness, what if we got hold of the word? What if the word could be grasped? And we are going to go into it, how a word can be grasped. That word, not the spoken word. How if we could grasp the word, which is the spirit, the ultimate consciousness, this strand of consciousness that never splits anywhere, that never breaks. Even in going from reality to illusion, it remains the same reality. The only real link at all levels of creation, at all levels of consciousness, if that word we could somehow get hold of and grasp, what would happen? Perfect living masters say, then your journey is very easy. Then you are riding the royal road. Then you are following a system which can be called the system of Sut Shabd Yoga. The attention pinned on to the word, going on its ultimate tuning. You don't need anything else. Forget all meditation. Forget everything. If you can do this, you need nothing else. You need no more direction. You need no more meditation. You need no more methods or practices or procedures. If you can get hold of that word, the Shabad, and stick to it, it goes from stage to stage and you have to do nothing but to live in its company. That word seems to be the secret. If we could somehow get on to the word, we have found the real way. And then come these perfect living masters, and they say, don't look at us with so much intensity. What you are looking at is only an external manifestation, an external symbol. Look at our reality. You want to know who perfect living master is, where his knowledge comes from, where he shares his secrets with you. You want to know that? His real form is the word, not the body, not the face, not the form. Go back and find the reality of the nature of a perfect living master. That is the word resounding in you all the time, day and night, from birth to death, and never stops. You can hear it. You can speak it. This gave a great clue to the old Eastern mystics who were meditating to find the truth. They found there's such a big difference between speaking and listening. That was a great revelation, that the whole difference between not getting within and getting within was speaking and listening. If you speak, you never go within. If you listen, you always go within. They found that the speaking part in a human consciousness is done by the mind. You never speak except with the mind. And the listening part is done by the soul, by the spirit, which is beyond mind. It looks so simple that people wondered why we didn't do it. They said, this is so easy. We don't have to speak anymore. We just listen and we are in. That was true. But when they tried to listen and not speak, they found there was constant speech going on in their head. They tried to sit in meditation, and somebody was saying in their head, how long will it last? How long have I to do it? I forgot to do that thing. I remember I had something else left over. Boy, that was their own mind. It was speaking incessantly, never allowing us to listen. We found that the very mind that speaks outside through spoken language was speaking through its own spoken language inside us and prevented us from listening. If we could not listen to the mind and just listen to anything else, we would be wonderful fine. We could find the self. I tell you today that if we don't listen to the mind, sit quietly with our eyes closed, do not listen to the mind and to listen to whatever else is there, you made it, found yourself. But the mind doesn't stop speaking. The mind keeps on speaking. But what happens if for a moment we can shell the mind aside? What will happen? Will there be something to listen to at all? Yes, you listen to beautiful music, a melody the like of which you have never listened to outside. The source of all music is ringing in us at all times. The sound of bells, the chime, that great echo of the bell, of the peal of the bell, gong, gong, going on inside, is going on in each one of us at all times. Why don't we listen? Because we're busy listening to our own thoughts and our own mind. If we could stop listening to our mind and start listening to the sound, the unstruck sound, the unspoken sound, the word that nobody has spoken but resounds continuously, if we can listen to that, we can go through all the 5 stages of the journey I mentioned up to the ultimate only by listening to the sound. As easy as that. What's making it difficult? The babbling of the mind. Nothing else is making it difficult. We don't have any adversary in the spiritual path except our own mind. There is nobody stopping us on the way except our own mind. If we could just ignore our mind, handle it, somehow do something to it, fight it, handle it, tactfully deal with it, put it aside, give it a lollipop, do something, make it busy. If we could make the mind get busy with something and give us a chance to listen, we made it. This is the secret. The perfect living masters who have gone through this process so many times, They fly in and out to all the stages all the time. They stay in a state of totality where they can operate at simultaneously at all levels of reality and illusion. When we come across such people and they want to share their simplest form, the royal road to the ultimate, they say, just listen to the music, the sound that is always available inside you. You don't have to go anywhere outside. What did we do? The sound was heard by the mystics and they proclaimed, hear it. We built big domes. They said it is round. Don't you know where the reality is? And we copied this little head of ours, make a bigger dome. Still bigger. We have a bigger church, more following. Bigger dome. And people wore different headgear, mixed steeples. And we put bells and ring them inside there. That was an outside symbol. That can't lead us within. If we keep on making artificial sounds of the bells outside, how will we hear the bell inside? The bells ring within all the time, 24 hours. Anybody can go and hear within. The bells are ringing in us all the time. And they are not ringing very far away. They are ringing at the astral stage. The moment you withdraw your attention and it comes above the torso, you will hear the bell. Everybody's heard the bell. They heard the bell sound whether they were born in China or they were born in India or they were born in Sweden or they were born in the United States. They heard the same bells. It was not man-made. No man invented a machine and implanted in the brain. It was made by the same creator who made us. That sound, that word, that ultimate form, manifestation of the creator, not manifestation of the creation, is inside us at all levels, wherever we go. Therefore, a lot of the practices that we are doing, and we call it meditation, and we call it the great discipline of a spiritual journey, is just to achieve this end. How to stop listening to the mind and start listening to the music. That's it. Whoever has done it has been successful on the spiritual path and makes it. Any one of you can do it.